the game against the Lions. But this kickoff going to Preston. Roel Preston on the 25-yard line, trying to turn the corner and doing a good job of it. Preston gets into Tampa Bay territory. And he's done it again, another big kickoff return.
Phenomenal. The phenomenal thing is, you know, he had the big week last week. And you've practiced all week in special teams saying, we're not going to let Preston get this thing done. And then he turns around. A nice job. You're going to watch this whole thing develop right here. Nice job of blocking. Preston just runs with his eyes. You know, talking to him the other night, the first thing he said is, I like it here in Green Bay. They believe in me, and they let me run with my eyes. And I think that's a great advantage for a returner.
That was a 48-yard kickoff return, and the Packers, in a resounding kickoff return by Roel Preston, have the ball on the Buccaneers' 45-yard line. And their first play from scrimmage. And the give is to Dorsey Levens, turning the corner, and he gets a couple before he is run out of bounds. Brett Favre, with an impressive 11-1 record, including playoffs against Tampa Bay, will lead the pack. And a fine performance by the offensive line, including Marco Rivera, the left guard, starting in that position. Levens and Henderson, the backs, and Freeman and Brooks, the wide receivers. Right now, the Packers with 2 tight ends with 2nd down and 8. And the pass to inside the 40, Mark Shimura, the reliable tight end, short of the first down by a couple of yards. The Tampa Bay defense, and this is, of course, their strength, their spark is Warren Sapp, the defensive tackle, but a solid defensive line. Jeff Gooch starting for the first time in his career with Nickerson and Brooks. And the key man in the secondary, John Lynch, a ferocious hitter, who did not play most of the fourth quarter against the Vikings last week with an abdominal strain. It is 3rd and short for Green Bay. And Dorsey Levens dives forward for the first down to the 34-yard line. Helped by the 48-yard kickoff return, the Packers with a first down.
Dick, you know, you watch Dorsey Levens right there. Now, he had right there what he missed last week in the second half. He just missed that little bit of magic, that little slide, and you could see it as soon as he got to the third quarter. There wasn't, he just kind of, his legs just gave out on him. Now, after a whole week of getting those legs kind of back into running shape, he should be ready.
He was a holdout for 6 weeks, and that was his first hitting action, really, last week against Detroit. First down, Packers on the 33, and again they give it to Levens. And Levens moving the pile for a couple of yards. Warren Sapp right in the middle of it. Short game.
Dick, if you listen to Howie Long talking in a pregame show, and he was talking about how this is going to be an angry defensive line. Well, it all starts right there with Warren Sapp, number 99. And if you're Warren Sapp, you can expect it. You can see the attention. He's getting a double team, and then he works off the double and still gets in. If you're going to run the ball effectively, you have to get Warren Sapp blocked. It's the same as Gilbert Brown in the running game.
And he had a big game in a losing cause against the Packers in last year's divisional playoff. 2nd down, we'll call it 10. Robert Brooks came in motion to the right. Good protection for Favre. He's got a lot of time, and Shimura makes the grab inside the 20-yard line. And if Favre gets protection like that all day, he'll blister that Tampa Bay defense.
Again, I like to go back to what Howie Long said in that pregame show about the defensive line not having any kind of pressure. Well, again, it comes back to Warren Sapp, and they're taking care of him up here. They're going to know where he's at all the time. Look at the pressure. There's no pressure inside. He could step up and be patient, and there's your key. Patience is the key for the Green Bay Packers today.
That was a gain of 14, and keep in mind, if the Packers get an early lead, that makes it doubly tough for Tampa Bay. 1st and 10 at the 19, and the pass dropped. And a good play by Anthony Parker, breaking up the pass intended for Antonio Freeman.
Now, I want you to take a look at Brett Favre and how he throws this thing. You know, Marino has this, Elway does this. It's mechanically completely wrong. He's going to go back. He opens himself, watch his shoulder will go this way, his foot goes out that way, and the ball comes this way. Usually, you must say, you step where you throw. Favre's arm is so good, he can be wrong and be right.
Last year, the Packers 9th in the NFL in the red zone. They have a 2nd and 10 at the 19. Derek Mays lined up to the left. And a slant pattern, and going the wrong way was Derek Mays.
Mays missed it. You saw Favre at the line of scrimmage. Anthony Parker walked up. Anthony Parker walked up, and he gave him one-to-one outside. See, now Favre sees that, and he checks off at the line of scrimmage. See, he's checking. Now, see this? There's the signal. And that is to do a slant route inside. Derek Mays missed it. He went out instead of coming in. Ball came right here.
So a 3rd down and 10 for Brett Favre.
Incidentally, Dick, that was wide open. Favre was right.
Favre was 12 of 13 on 3rd down passes last week. Here comes the blitz, and it's picked up. Favre has time. Flag is down, and the pass overthrown. Derek Mays, the intended receiver, covered by Parker, but a penalty marker down at the 10-yard line. The Giants called for the penalty and a 1st down.
Well, you get 5 yards, and that's a good shot. Now, if that's within 5 yards, I'm for it. That's the way you have to play.
So Barber leaves the game, and he replaced Floyd Young, who is inactive this week, as the nickel cornerback for Tampa Bay. Last week, the Bucs allowing the fewest yards, and here is Dorsey Levens, and Levens gets to the 11. Not much on that play, and it'll be 2nd.
Last week, the Tampa Bay defense kind of was conservative. And they had a couple of problems with that 3 wide receiver set. And you heard Chris Collinsworth talking about it on our pregame show when they went 3 wide, they went to man, then they just ran it, then they just threw deep. That stuff still exists in this offense. But I'm watching Tampa right now, and they've made some adjustments. They've gone man a couple of times, which they're not really good at doing.
There you see Parker defending against Brooks. And a play fake, and Brett Favre is going to go down, and it's going to be Warren Sapp. And last year, Sapp and Favre had a jawing exchange. They were really going at each other, and they were picking up where they left off briefly.
Well, Sapp just started yakking at him again, and he wanted to get that done. Remember we said, you have to block Warren Sapp if you're going to do anything with his defense. Now they run a stunt, a nice job of splitting the double team. And he just hit the inside shoulders, made them declare they didn't get it done. At the end of it, he started yakking to Favre, and Favre didn't do anything. The reason? Mike Holmgren said, I do not want you talking at all to Sapp. You just keep your trap shut.
He might have said something. This is the 10th play of the drive, 3rd down and 13, following the 5-yard loss. And Favre gets away from one and can't get away from Brad Culpepper, who gets him from behind. So the field goal last week, this will be a 38-yarder. Holding is Peterson, the backup quarterback, and the kick is good. And the Green Bay Packers, thanks to a 48-yard kickoff return by Roel Preston, get 3 and lead the Buccaneers 5 minutes gone by. Draft choice Jaquez Green, who did not play last week with a turf toe, should see a lot of action as a wide receiver out of Florida. And he's going to have to be key, but a good kickoff. And running it out is Green from 5 yards in the end zone. Jaquez Green dives to the 16, and perhaps a rookie mistake in judgment running it out from that deep in the end zone.
Yes, I would.
The Buccaneers 3-0 on the fine aerial view at Lambeau Field, thanks to the Goodyear blimp with us this afternoon. Tampa Bay starting from their 16. Had it been down in the end zone, they would have gotten 4 more yards. Warwick Dunn spinning his way on the 1st down for a couple of yards. So a lot of the responsibility on the shoulders of Trent Dilfer when you look at Tampa Bay's offense, and you can see his record against Green Bay, only 1-6 and 1 touchdown pass. Jason Odom back in action at right tackle, out last week with the flu. Dunn and all start the running backs, and Carl Williams is starting in place of Bert Emanuel, who is out at wide receiver. 2nd down and 8. Dilfer to throw on 2nd down, and the pass is overthrown, his tight end Dave Moore, and that will bring up 3rd and long. Packers defensively, the rookie Monty Holiday from Carolina played extremely well in his debut last week. Brian Williams with a big game, and Bernardo Harris and George Kuntz. Darren Sharper at free safety, replacing Eugene Robinson and Craig Newsome back this year. 3rd down and 8. Jaquez Green is in as the third wide receiver, number 81. And Dilfer, incomplete. It was intended for Carl Williams, and so 3 and out for Trent Dilfer and Tampa Bay.
He threw it over to Williams, but if he'd have looked on the other side at Jaquez Green, he had a step because Newsome fell down right away. And the interesting thing is, Craig Newsome is not all the way back. I mean, he's just not the same Craig Newsome as he was before he hurt that knee, and teams have been trying to go after him. I would expect that that's still going to happen in this game.
Tommy Barnhart will pick from inside the 5-yard line, and Roel Preston is back deep. And it is a returnable kick, and Preston going over, and he's going to let it bounce, and now picks it up inside the 30 and goes out of bounds. That's a 53-yard punt by Tommy Barnhart. The Packers will have the ball on their 29-yard line. What a difference already between last week and this week for the defensive line of Tampa Bay.
And if they're going to have the kind of season they did a year ago, this defensive front has to produce. They've just got to get it done.
3 wide receivers and 2 tight ends for Green Bay, leading 3-0. Brett Favre gets some pressure, and the pass incomplete. And it was Chabura downfield, but again, it was Sapp putting the pressure on. And right now, let's return to James Brown in the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles for an NFL update.
Dick and Matt, watch Robert Smith get a key block by rookie Randy Moss, who not only catches, but he blocks 24-yard, run the TD for Robert Smith on an opening drive. Vikings at it again, up by 7. Back to Dick and Matt.
They hot early.
Everybody's talking about the offense and they can score some points, but to me, Eddie McDaniel, their middle linebacker, he's back, and he is an excellent player.
2nd down and 10. And here comes a blitz, and the handoff is to Levens. Dorsey Levens gets good running room and gets about 6 yards on the play to the 35-yard line. Lynch and Nickerson finally bring him down. A workhorse last week was Dorsey Levens.
You know, Dick, one of the things that you must do to this Tampa Bay defense is you have to run the football at them. Because what they do is they give you a lot of stunts and movement up front. And if you catch them in that movement, they came on a blitz that time. If you catch them in it with the run, you'll run right past it.
Now the Pack comes out with 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 4. A lot of targets, and the pass broken up. It was intended for Brooks, and making the play there was the linebacker, Derek Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks saw it right away. They went 4 wides in the hope of spreading everybody out, and then it just comes down to the eyes of Favre. However, Brooks is reading the same thing. So he got himself a little depth, and he saw it perfectly, broke on the inside, and almost had himself a pick.
So Sean Landeta, who last year kicked for Tampa Bay after Barnhart went down with a broken collarbone, will be kicking to Jaquez Green, who set a school record at Florida with 4 kick returns for touchdowns. This is a high kick, giving the Packers coverage team chance to get down. Fair catch by Green at the dart from the 27. Trent Dilfer, the quarterback, with a play fake on 1st down, loses the ball. It's a fumble, and it is picked up by the Packers. Let's see if Bonnie Holiday got it. He did.
Santana Dotson caused it. Came right up inside, was almost there for the sack, but had the presence to go ahead and swipe it. Remember last week, he made the big early play for the Green Bay Packers when he was able to stuff that short yardage against Detroit. Here he just goes right past Middleton. And Middleton, the guy was talking all kinds of stuff this week, saying how he's going to handle Santana Dotson. Dotson said, "I'll let my talking speak for itself on the field," and he spoke loudly on that play, slapping that ball away for a big turnover.
Here it is again, and you know, everyone talks about Reggie White and Big Gilbert Brown, but Santana Dotson really the stabilizing influence of that line.
No question, the most consistent lineman they've had in the last 2 years, Santana Dotson.
So the Packers are on the Buccaneer 14-yard line following the turnover. Going with 3 wide receivers, and Dorsey Levens fires into about the 10-yard line, and a pickup of about 4.
Hey, you know, Chris Collinsworth talked about this in the pregame show. This is a page right out of Minnesota's offensive playbook. They spread out this defense, and they make this linebacker walk out, and then they just run right at it, because you can block here, and get inside. It puts pressure on your middle and also your defensive line to come off of blocks. Saw it last week in the tape. They saw the same thing, and they're using it again.
Tyrone Davis, who was the 3rd tight end on this team is in there now. Multiple tight ends on 2nd and 6. Favre, he's got Davis. He'll score easily. Touchdown, Green Bay.
You heard me talk about patience against Tampa Bay. Favre has to be patient. And the way to be patient is let things develop. In order for him to be patient, his offensive line has to give him time.
And he is good, and it's 10-0. So Tyrone Davis, who last year caught 2 passes, one of them for a touchdown, makes his first reception good for a Packer score. 10-0 Green Bay. We'll be right back.
Beat yourself that you can't live with. That drives a coach crazy.
Longwell's kick is short, and it's going to be Jacquez Green at the 3 returning for Tampa Bay, and he runs into a crowd and is stopped there shy of the 20, and it was rookie Roosevelt Blackman on the special teams tackle.
Yeah, I want to show you what happened here. This is what's called a banjo coverage, and you have the safety over the top and these 2 backers, and these 2 guys, he stays inside, he stays outside. You have safety help over the top. You let them declare. Derek Brooks went too far, saw it, and fell down. And when he fell, that made the 6. And then, you know, Davis knew it, but he also knew he wasn't about to leap into the end zone as well.
Good judgment by Davis.
By him. Good point by him.
First down at the 19 for Tampa Bay. Warwick Dunn spins his way to about the 21-yard line, and this game is the last kind of scenario that Tony Dungy would have wanted, to be down early with still under 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter, 10 points, because Tampa Bay does not play well when they're down early by a lot.
So what you have to do is get everybody together and settle them down. Run the football. Your defense is playing well. You got beat on a fumble. That's okay. Let's start getting back to what you do right. Run the football, start eating up some of the clock.
2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard pickup. Dilfer this time has time, but he overthrows Warwick Dunn out of the backfield, and right now the Tampa Bay offense really is out of sync totally.
As is Trent Dilfer. When I watch Dilfer, the one thing that really, and this is just me observing this, I think he's his own worst enemy. I think he thinks himself right into a problem. You know, it's amazing to me. He knows what's going on. He sees the whole field. He knows what he has to do, and then this little thought goes and say, if they do this, I'll do this, and that just limits you. You have to just play with your eyes.
Tony Dungy kind of agreed with you yesterday when you brought that up. 3rd and 9. 4 wide receivers. One of them is a tight end out to the right, and this pass is caught by Jacquez Green, and Green slips on the grass. So there's new turf here at Lambeau Field. Some players slipped a bit last week, but Green slipped, but he did pick up 17 and a first down.
You know, one thing that Jacquez Green has, and we talked about going against Newsom, is he has great speed, so you must respect that. He gave him the room, then he missed the tackle. Had he made the tackle, he'd have been fine. And you can see he fell right there. Last week I watched him. The field is in great shape, and it's a new turf. They really shouldn't kind of be slipping around in there. That's a bad job of knowing your field and not having the right shoes on.
First down of the game by the Bucs. They're on their own 37, trailing by 10. Dilfer's pass, and it's caught by Carl Williams, and Williams gets to midfield. It's another Tampa Bay first down.
Yeah, and I'm just watching Trent Green as he's walking back. You could see he just kind of took a big, sirely. I'm thinking of Washington right now. They're getting their first start. But Trent Dilfer just comes out and he settles down. He makes the throw. They're going to give him some room underneath with the corner. You take advantage of it and you move on. Now when the throw is complete, he just walked towards him. Nice try. Gather yourself and play.
On first down, and here's Warwick Dunn. The Packers are ready for Dunn. He has not been able to escape anyone. And that time, Bernardo Harris, the middle linebacker, brought him down for no gain. It'll be 2nd down. The Buccaneers, and of course every possession they have the rest of this first half will be critical here at Lambeau Field. By the way, there were very few Green Bay fans here because on the ticket plan, 2 games every year go to fans in Milwaukee who journey up from that city. And the games are this one and the game against San Francisco. The Green Bay fans go to the rest.
So the regular crowd doesn't shuffle in. It's an irregular crowd.
Don't tell the fans in Milwaukee
regular crowd shuffles in.
Second down and 10. Dilfer getting some time, and his pass is caught by Williams as the defender falls down, and the first down at the 35-yard line. And moving now with under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. First down on the Packer 35. Dilfer's short pass is complete. Excellent. And it is a first down. Carl Williams gets inside the 25-yard line. And a gain of 12 yards.
And he had some time to throw. And if you're going to get that time, you have to take care of the inside with Gilbert Brown, because what he'll do is collapse the pocket. You can see he got him to the top side, and then Middleton just grabbed onto him and buried him. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of slipping going on in these first two series. Newsom's missed 3 or 4 tackles already in this first quarter.
Here's Warwick Dunn, and he drives to the 21. By the way, Vaughn Booker has gone in for Reggie White at defensive end. Bob Kuberski replaces Gilbert Brown.
Man, Dick, you know, we talked yesterday to Tony Dungy, and part of their game plan still was to wear down the defensive line. Then you're going to keep on running at Gilbert Brown and Reggie White. We want them to get tired because it's a long game. It may not happen early, but in the fourth quarter, it can beat you.
Second down and 7 at the 20. Lorenzo Neal is in the game along with Mike Allstott. And the handoff is to Allstott in his first carry of the game. He struggled last week against Minnesota, fumbled, and that resulted in a Viking touchdown. Allstott trying to get on track.
Part of the plan is getting Gilbert Brown blocked, and I think when they keep on going after him, and Mayberry holding on to him, he's kind of slowing down a little bit right now. And now they took him out, and they went with their new defensive front. Gilbert Brown's on the sideline, and if you see a void of air missing right here, that's because Gilbert's sucking all of it in as fast as he can.
It is in the 80s. 3rd and 8, 10th play of the drive.
It's a great series by Tampa Bay.
Dave Moore, the tight end, split to the left out of the slot. And Dilfer loses the ball. It's a fumble. And the Packers recover, and it's going to be George Kuntz.
Kuntz got the ball. Reggie White made the play.
Fritz Dermer alertly gets him out, gives him a breather, and he comes back in and makes the big play. And the Packers get the ball back. Second turnover by the Bucs. They're on the 31-yard line. The pass is caught by Levens out of the backfield, and a gain of about 4 or 5. Minute and a half remaining here in the first quarter. The Packers lead 10-0. Took advantage of an earlier fumble by the Buccaneers. George Kuntz recovering the latest miscue by Tampa Bay. And Dilfer involved in both fumbles.
And again, they're just beating themselves. They're not getting beat. They reestablished themselves in a hurry in that last series. And then the ball flopped around.
Second down and 6. Dorsey Levens looking for running room, and nothing there. And
well, too. They're not real big, but they get to the football. It's hard to run to the outside on this group.
He said, you're not patient against them, he'll beat you.
Absolutely.
Under a half a minute remaining in the first quarter. 3rd down and 7 for Brett Favre. His pass is incomplete. Derek Mays was the intended receiver, and Anthony Parker doing a good job of covering him. And will be kicking Jacquez Green, who did not play last week, so this is his NFL debut. Good kick by Landeta. Green at the 15. And brought down. And Pat Terrell, the veteran, making the stop following a 51-yard punt by Sean Landeta. Explained yesterday to us, he says it's tough to open up on the road in Minnesota and Green Bay, but until you lose a division game at home, the other teams have just held service, so he's not about to press any kind of panic button.
And he also knows the old formula for getting to the playoffs is split on the road and lose one at home. You win the rest, you're in.
8 seconds to go in the quarter. First down on the 19. Dilfer with a pump fake and going up top. And Riddell Anthony downfield as 2 seconds remain in that quarter. And Leroy Butler, who scored a touchdown on a fumble recovery last week against the Lions.
How good is Leroy Butler? You know, he does so many things that you become accustomed to them happening, that you don't even expect anything but excellence out of him. And it actually lessens the play, because you see big plays and you go, oh yeah, that's Leroy Butler, he's supposed to do that. He's really, really turned into as good as there is in the National Football League.
And where he comes from down in Jacksonville, Florida, this is the big Central Division game. 2nd and 10 with 2 seconds to go in the quarter. And Dilfer, under pressure by Reggie White, gets away and finally goes down at the 22-yard line as time runs out. Way a lot more. He's split wide to the right as we start the second quarter. Dick Stockton and Matt Millen here at Lambeau Field. 3rd and 6 for the Buccaneers. 4 wide receivers for Trent Dilfer. And his pass out of the backfield to Warwick Dunn, and that will be sufficient for a Tampa Bay first down. Kuntz covering him on the play. Gain of 7.
Now, you'll take your chances, Warwick Dunn on George Kuntz any day. That's not to slap down George Kuntz. That's to say that Warwick Dunn is too good. Because Warwick Dunn, if you're going to try to take away the inside, like George Kuntz tried to do, and make him go one way, he'll take that one way. You take it, give him a bounce, and you've given him separation. That's a first down. That's really tough coverage for Kuntz.
Tampa Bay lost 5 in a row overall to the Packers, 3 last year. And he gives it to Dunn again. Dunn picks up just a couple of yards. Well, the Buccaneers continue to make mistakes this week. They thought they would put that in the past. But look what happened last week. 2 turnovers resulted in 14 Minnesota points. Already they've turned it over twice and a touchdown for the Packers.
And that's just, again, that's feeding yourself. 12 penalties is inexcusable. The turnovers sometimes happen, but you cannot kick yourself in the rear end. You can't beat that.
2nd and 9. Dilfer getting better time, and here's Carl Williams downfield, and he was covered by Craig Newsome. Incomplete, and so 3rd and long coming up for the Buccaneers, who trail 10-0.
Craig Newsome played that perfectly. You know, he's battling through that knee. I spoke to him this morning, asked him how it was. He said, it's good. He said, I'll keep fighting. See, I didn't say anything, and he knew that teams are going to pick on him until he stops it. And he's fighting through the knee and learning how to play again. And it's all going to happen, and it's going to come, because he's a good player, and he needs to gain confidence on the knee.
And he had back surgery, of course, about a month ago on top of the knee surgery that knocked him out last year. 3rd and 9, again, 4 wide receivers for Tampa Bay, and going up top is Dilfer, and let's see, Williams is defending against Jacquez Green.
That'll beat too.
Tyrone Williams downfield. Hard kicking away, and Roel Preston is on the receiving end. Crowd always will anticipate a return following his 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown last week and a 40-yard line, and the Tampa Bay defensive line has played them relatively tough thus far. First down early in the second quarter. Brett Favre's pass is dropped, and it was Freeman who should have made the play. Don't forget,
on Monday night, he was just phenomenal. Used his feet, threw the ball. They were really good.
2nd and 10 at the 32 following the drop pass. And this time,
great catch.
Tough catch. And a gain of about 5. Right now, let's return to JB in the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles for an NFL update.
Dick and Mac, running back Greg Hill of St. Louis, inactive last week, replaced Gerald Moore, who fumbled 3 times. He makes good on it as they now draw within 7 of the Vikes, 14-7. And Chicago started strong against Jacksonville last week before falling. Starts strong here. 54-yard pass play to pay dirt. That's to Bobby Ingram. But the PAT has missed. 6-0 Bears over the Steelers. Back to Dick and Matt.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Packers facing a 3rd and 5 on their 37. Favre out to Levens, and a big tackle made by Derek Brooks will force the Packers to kick. So Brooks making an open field tackle, preventing Green Bay from getting a first down, and they're 3 and out on this sequence.
Dick, that was a
Kicking once again, and Jacquez Green, who has already demonstrated he's got a world of speed. This time he lets the ball bounce, and this time the Packers are going to down it inside the 5-yard line.
He just got a face full of Lambeau's sun. That's what happened.
They fitted him with sunglasses. He tried them and he took them off. He may wear them the next time around. We'll see.
So he looked right back into that same sun that he got a push full of sun in. And there it is right there. And that's the reason he had to let that punt go and gave him this field position on the 3-yard line.
Tough assignment for Trent Dilfer with the crowd. Dilfer trying to get out of trouble. It's tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Bonnie Holiday got a hand on it. Let's listen to the line of scrimmage earlier.
On the 3rd down. That was beautiful. Hardy Nickerson sees it, makes the adjustment, and Favre comes back and adjusts off of Nickerson's call. That's good cerebral football.
Inside football.
Not only that, you have to use your head.
2nd and 10, Allstott barreling forward. Gets to about the 7-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. The Buccaneers with poor field position right here. And when you look at their first 4 possessions of the game, they haven't managed much. Fumble resulting in a touchdown. And the fumble when they actually drove into Green Bay territory. And this game very similar to what we saw last week, Matt, with the Lions, when a fumble early and a touchdown put the Lions in an early hole. They came back, but couldn't really get back into the game.
Exactly right. Now Tampa Bay had their chance to get back before Reggie White forced that fumble early.
3rd down and 6. Dilfer is sacked, and
no, they're not going to give it to him.
No safety. He was out of the end zone. Reggie White got to him, and he's got to him the last couple of years.
Reggie White is putting on a clinic to Jason Odom today. Really on that right side of the offensive line. Middleton's on that side. Odom's on that side. Reggie White's lined up down here, and he's just going to come with power. He just takes on Odom again. Low man wins. Hey, listen, at every level of football, if it's Little League, if it's high school, in college, you play with leverage, you give yourself a chance. When you bring your power with your leverage, you win.
Very nearly a safety, and there you see Barnhart. No margin for error at the end of the end zone. He gets it off. Roel Preston will let it bounce. Picks it up at the 45. Roel Preston gets down to the 36-yard line, and as a result of the last punt and the defense by the Packers, Green Bay again in good field position. We'll be right back.
Right now, Reggie White. He's given too much ground, and he's not setting. He ducked his head, and when he did that, Reggie White just lowered the boom, got the leverage, and got Fritz Shermer really excited. Because Fritz is not really an emotional guy, but he's getting excited about what he's seeing right now.
3 sacks by the Packers, 2 resulting in fumbles, 1 nearly a safety. First down at the 35-yard line of Tampa Bay, and this handoff, and Favre chasing 16. Warren Sapp replaced by Tioka Jackson, number 97, up front for Tampa Bay. Favre going over the middle, and the pass is caught by Robert Brooks. And Brooks gets inside the Tampa Bay 20-yard line. Brooks coming back from injury, as Matt pointed out. Did not play much in the second half, but gets 25 on this play.
You know what I just saw with Robert Brooks? Something he did not have in the preseason. Well, he didn't practice very much or even play. But I want you to watch the end of this game. He didn't have this at all last year. It's right here. You see that? He hit that extra gear and came back inside, and that's the gear he did not possess a year ago.
Look at the average starting field position for Green Bay midfield. What an advantage for them. Screen pass Dorsey Levens, and Levens fights his way down to the 11-yard line where Derek Brooks makes the tackle. So the Packers, who have had tremendous field position in this first half with under 9 minutes remaining and leading 10-0 and looking to put more on the board.
Well, he has, Mike Holmgren, that is, has Tampa Bay on their heels defensively. And what he's doing is he doesn't care. Then they're talking about patience. All right, we're going to be patient. We got field position. We'll just keep on working it methodically down the field and take our chance.
Bill Schrader is wide to the right on 2nd and 4. Here's Levens. Dives inside the 10 and will be short of the first down by a couple of yards.
Sapp is going to come back in, as is Brad Culpepper. Really, when Warren Sapp...
They're their closest pursuers, the Buccaneers. 3 wide receivers out of the I formation. And Favre's pass, flag is down, and a pass incomplete intended for Freeman. And it was Donnie Abraham defending on the play, and Green Bay will be called for the foul.
And it's going to be Earl Dotson working on Chidi Ahanatu. And get the hand right there to the face, and that's what they called. That stuff's going to happen. You have to work back out of it. But he saw it, and he called it. More than that, good defense over there by the Bucs, which was able to force this field goal.
They have stiffened when they've had to. It's their offense that hasn't done much, and they haven't had good field position. 27-yard field goal attempt by Ryan Longwell, and the kick is good. So Longwell, who opened the scoring today with a 38-yarder in the first quarter on the Packers' first possession, now giving Green Bay a 13-0 lead over Tampa Bay. The Packers are shooting for their 25th consecutive victory here at Lambeau Field, and that would be too short of the all-time home record set by the Miami Dolphins. He's wearing the sunglasses, and this was the same end he was looking in when he had problems with the sun the last time. But here is Longwell's kick. It is a short kick. Green at the 7. Rookie Jacquez Green, and he'll get up to the 27-yard line with 7:40 remaining in the league.
You can give me Reggie White on my team any day of the week. The man has got character, and he knows how to play the game.
Tampa Bay with a first down on their 27-yard line. Glenn Dilfer is going to go down, and Reggie White now has set a Green Bay Packer record for career sacks, passing Tim Harris with that sack.
And he didn't do that shoot thing that Tim Harris used to do. He just got up with class, handles himself, makes the sack, go down, finish. Jason Odom's having fits. Here's why. He tries to sit down. See, he's waiting for the bull rush. You see how he ducked his head to take the shot? Right when he did that, Reggie saw it and just gave him that Howie Long hump move, threw him to the side, and makes the sack.
Howie's smiling in the studio right now, I bet you.
Well, he credits Howie Long for that. Now they made, right here, they took Wunsch and brought him in and got rid of Odom.
Second down and 13, and there is Mike Allstott, and that's the kind of run that Allstott made successful last year for the Buccaneers as he brings it out to the 30-yard line, a gain of 6.
They need him. They need the A-train, Mike Allstott, and they need to run him effectively inside. When he's on and they're pounding, you have to start committing people up front. Then play action opens up. If your short passing game starts to open up, they need Allstotts. They need the A-train to have the A game.
Reggie White now passing Tim Harris. He was a half a sack away. He's got 3 already this afternoon. The Bucs with a third down and 7 from their 30-yard line, and the pass caught by Dave Moore, and he appears to have enough for the first down just shy of the 40. Leroy Butler trying to knock him back, but the first down for Tampa Bay with still enough time to go, a little more than 6 minutes.
So what do? You get a new guy in there, and you're Reggie White, and you're working on Wunsch, the offensive tackle. You go right back to what's been working. You go with power, because his power game is going to open up that hump.
And there is Odom, who missed last week's game against Minnesota with the flu. Maybe missing the rest of this game with the Whites. First and 10 at the 39-yard line. And Warwick Dunn bounces off a defender. And finally tackled by Brian Williams, but not before he scampers into Green Bay territory and a gain of 13 yards.
Now this is two things happen. Warwick Dunn, as you see it coming right at you, Warwick Dunn lowers his shoulder and does the spin. Bernardo Harris does not wrap his arms. Newsom comes over, Leroy Butler comes over, but Warwick Dunn did something there you just don't teach. You either have that, you have to feel for it, or you don't, and obviously he hasn't.
You know, Dunn gained 125 yards in their meeting last year in the regular season. He's got 20 thus far. First and 10 at the 48 for Tampa Bay, and they go right back to Warwick Dunn. And Dunn will lose on the play. Back to the 50, maybe as much as 2 yards.
You know, there's Gilbert Brown, who's getting a little pumped up. But Gilbert Brown should go over it and give Vonnie Holliday a little bit of that gravedigger stuff. Because Vonnie Holliday, who's your right defensive end, really plays very, very solid. Works off the block, what you forget about Holiday is, yes, he's a big man. He's 300 pounds, but he can move. He reminds me of Reggie White in his younger days. Doesn't understand how to rush the passer as well yet, but he's going to get there.
Packers traded up to pick him number 1, and glad they did. Second down and 11, and the pass underneath, complete to Warren Dunn. Dunn will be short of the first down by 1.5 yards, and it was Williams, the linebacker, and Leroy Butler. Who else who combined to make the play? And now
Tampa Bay is not good enough to win a game by committing all those mistakes. They're not at that level.
Oh, you're right. They've got to play a mistake-free game, play tight defense, run the ball well, and take shots when they can passing-wise.
And they can do that. They're good enough to do that part of the game.
After the penalty, 2nd and 21. Back on the 41-yard line of Tampa Bay, and the pass up the middle. The umpire got in the way, perhaps, of Warwick Dunn and Brian Williams, who was covering him.
Yeah, he did. See, what Warwick Dunn was going to try to do was to use that umpire as a way to get rid of Brian Williams. Here's the umpire right inside. Brian Williams is right here. So Warwick Dunn will try to bump him off. See? He was trying to come back inside. Williams did a great job of knocking him off his route. And then Warwick Dunn bumped into the umpire.
There is Chad Brown, who was the umpire on this.
Good coverage by Chad Brown. Nice coverage. You know, the 49ers used to do that all the time. They'd use that umpire to knock off a defender.
Tampa Bay 3 of 7 on 3rd downs, but they need 21 yards here. And Dilfer going deep, and the pass is thrown out of bounds. Carl Williams defended by Tyrone Williams downfield. So the penalty, the holding penalty, comes back to haunt Tampa Bay again, because they were about 1.5 yards short of the first down in Green Bay territory. Now they have to bring in Barnhart to kick it away.
Dick, Reggie White has put on a show here in the first half.
Yeah. Roel Preston back to return. And Barnhart will kick from the 30. Gets off a good one. Fair catch. And Preston on the 20-yard line. And let's see if he got knocked in by it.
No, he didn't. But see, he has to give him room. Rondé Barber got a little bit too close, number 20. So you have
remaining in the first half. First down at the 20-yard line. Good play fake by Farr. And the pass caught by Samura. And he brings it out to the first down with Gooch defending on the play. So just like that, the Packers are moving the ball again, a pickup of 13. Well, over the past 70 years, millions have watched the Goodyear blimps hovering over special events. And today it's the Spirit of Akron carrying on that proud Goodyear tradition. And you can find out more about the Goodyear blimp fleet on the internet at Goodyear.com.
Akron, I think that's the old grandpappy of them all. He's been around for a long time.
Here's the pass to Antonio Freeman on the slant, and he gets to the 49-yard line and another first down, and a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. They'll bring it back. Holding called against Green Bay.
Ross Verba is fun to watch play, and I don't think he's as good as he's going to be. And I also think that he's not as good as he thinks he is, and that's a good thing.
As long as he gets to be as good as he thinks he is.
And he's going to get there. To me, he's an aggressive guy, but he needs to play a little bit more aggressive on the field. He needs to play in the game like he does in practice.
Here's Levens on the carry. That penalty, by the way, nullified a 16-yard gain, and it was only the first penalty of the game against the Packers. Tioka Jackson making the stop that time on Levens.
You know, when I watch Ross Verba, these are the things that jump out. He's powerful, aggressive, very confident. Like I said, he thinks he's pretty good. In fact, he thinks he's better than he is, and that's a good thing. And the one thing is he's gone mainstream. You know, he got the haircut. He used to have it all the way down like this, see? And then he went and got married, but not your standard. He did a Verba marriage. Just went and eloped.
Right near time of training camp. Levens on the screen pass. And Levens gets back to the original line of scrimmage. He'll still need about 10 yards as Brooks makes the tackle, as Upshaw gets up limping. And our 2-minute warning here at Lambeau Field with the Packers. We're in the same old press box here at Lambeau. 3rd down and 9. And a pass by Freeman and a first down. And it was Donnie Abraham who put the hit on Freeman, not bothered by it, and a hurry-up offense. Remember, Green Bay, with an earlier timeout, have 2 remaining as the time continues to run. First down at the 45 of Green Bay. And out of the backfield, Dorsey Levens. Great touch on that pass by Favre, and he's close to another first down, maybe shy by a half a yard.
Well, they're in sync. They are completely in sync. They know what they're doing, and Favre has them. Listen at the line of scrimmage.
And the give is to Levens, and Levens is tackled by Steve White, the newcomer in the line.
They should go with timeout here.
At the 43-yard line, and they will so much in this game. First and 10 at the 43. Green Bay now with one timeout remaining, and again they go to Levens out of the backfield. And Dorsey Levens short of the first down by 3 yards on the play as we wind down to a minute remaining. Pack not going to use that timeout so fast now.
You think when you go with the hurry up, you limit defensively what a team can call.
Second and 4, and the pass on the out, complete to Brooks, knocked out of bounds, but they say the clock continues to run, so he was stopped before he got out of bounds.
Yeah, and he hit him inbounds and knocked him right out of bounds. And Holmgren's mad about it because he's saying he did go out of bounds. Nice job by Abraham. It's 2 good hits.
So it is a first down for the Packers. And here again is Levens, and Levens this time does go out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock with 34 seconds remaining. And getting close to field goal range. Well, tonight, the best night on television begins with World's
At their own 34. Pickens
and The Simpsons. Then it's the fall's grooviest comedy, that 70s show, followed by a Fox special, Inside the X-Files. It all starts tonight at 7, 6 Central, right here on Fox. What a brilliant 2-minute drive by Brett Favre. And there's the drill, and the pass is caught by Freeman. That is Brett Favre throwing the pass.
See, Favre, now this is what I'm talking about, being in control. See? Yelling at everybody, get there. Now they're not there, so he takes the timeout.
And it's the first down and 10. The ball spotted at the 11-yard line. Mays splitting to the right and Freeman to the left with 2 tight ends.
Now watch right here. That's Warren Sapp. He needs to come up big right now.
And Favre with a fake and incomplete. He got good pressure up the middle as you thought he might.
From who?
Warren Sapp. Who else?
Sands helmet. He don't need a helmet. Heck, he doesn't care. He's coming off the ball. They go with the headbutt. Timmerman takes the helmet right off. You think he cared? Look what he led with. The guy led with his face. He went right after Favre, head first. Kind of wanted to give him a little kiss at the end.
I think Favre says, I thought you had pewter helmets this year.
Right. He got a cornrow to the kisser.
Second down and 10. This time both 5 receivers split left. Favre gets it out to Levens. And Levens driving his way to the 4-yard line. Bad tackling by Tampa Bay, but time running off. 6 seconds to go.
And he got to hurry.
And it doesn't appear that they're going to make it.
That, incidentally, was up
flags down.
Remember, you cannot. They're going to call Tampa Bay for not getting up in time.
And they can get the field goal team in.
And
now.
that's exactly what will happen. You have got to let them get up in a I don't know what.
On the field with no time remaining to try to add to the Packer lead.
Yeah, I'll tell you who else is on the field is Tony Dungy. Now, he wants the explanation right there. It's a good thing.
Here's Longwell with a 20-yard field goal attempt with no time remaining, and the Packers, as a result of that penalty, allowing them to get the field goal team on the field, add to their lead, and the Packers will lead 16-0 at halftime. And how exasperating. Jacquez Green back deep, and Ryan Longwell will kick off as we start the second half. Remember, Green Bay beat Tampa Bay 3 times last year, including the divisional playoff. Green at the goal line on the return. Jacquez Green carries Pat Terrell out close to the 25-yard line. Now, at the end of the half, Brett Favre injured his left hand on this play.
Well, it was when Warren Sapp lost his helmet and made the hit. He hurt his left hand. He knocked it off one of those cornrows on the top of Warren Sapp's head. And now that's his non-throwing hand, but it's also the hand that's most important when you take a snap. You can see it's his left, looks like his left ring finger. We'll see if that plays any kind of role here in the second half.
Jason Odom will start at right tackle here in the third quarter for Tampa Bay. He started the game and then was replaced. First down at the 24 for the Buccaneers. And the pass caught by Carl Williams, and a gain of about 5 on the play. Let's take a look at the first half statistics. And you can see not much running by either team, but the total yards were big, and of course the sacks and turnovers played a major role.
Yeah, and because of those sacks and turnovers, Dick, look at this. When you start on a short with a short field, you're starting on your own 45. You have 55 yards to go for a score. That's big, and that makes it really easy.
Some repair work for Mark Shimura as the Buccaneers 2nd and 3, and Mike Allstock doesn't get much. Allstock carried only 3 times for 9 yards in the first half. It'll be 3rd down coming up for the Bucs.
You know, Dick, when you watch this Green Bay Packer defense, Brian Williams, they talk about him as saying, boy, he should have a Pro Bowl year. He's having this chance. But when you don't see it because he's not flashy. But when you study them and watch him, this kid makes play after play. And he's also a very smart player.
3rd down and 3 for Trent Dilfer and the Bucs. They have 4 wide receivers, 2 fumbles on a 7 for 19 first half for Trent. Pressure on him, and the pass is caught by Jacquez Green. 1st down Buccaneers as he gets out to their own 40-yard line and shadowed by Craig Newsome.
And that's a nice tackle by Newsome, because if he doesn't get him, he's off and running. I want you to watch. You're going to watch the snap, and then he's going to just a quick throw. What he has to do there is he has to make that throw inside of Reggie White, because Jason Odom, how he changed up, as you see the tackle, is he tried to cut Reggie White to get his hands down. Very tough guy to cut.
1st and 10 at the 40-yard line for the Bucs, who start out in a patient mode here. And there's the draw play and the handoff to Warwick Dunn. And Dunn gets 9 yards on the play. And by the way, Brett Favre, the report on him is a bruised left hand, but he's all right and he's ready to go the next time the Packers take over on offense.
Now, not that Jason Odom's having just, throwing up an air ball as you look at Favre's numbers. That time, Warwick Dunn gets that run because of the block of Odom on Reggie White.
Odom, who's replaced by Wunsch after Reggie White did a number on him. White with 3 sacks in the first half. 2nd down and 1. And again, it's Dunn. And Dunn's not going to get there. No gain on the play. Santana Dotson, and then George Booth, the linebacker, coming on to make the big play. Last week, Tampa Bay gained only 68 yards on the ground. Today they have 41, compared to a tremendous running game with Dunn and Allstott last year to the tune of 121 yards per game.
Yeah, that's what they're averaging. Heck, they only have 109 in the last 2 weeks. They haven't even hit their average. This is a big play right here on this 3rd and short.
They got their Rhino backfield with Allstott and Lorenzo Neal, the fullback, and flag is down, and the play fake and the pass is caught. It'll be a 1st down pending the penalty. Patrick Hape, the tight end, but there's a flag down.
That flag is going to be
and Dilfer is shaken up.
Yeah, and Dilfer gets up kind of limping, but that penalty is going to be on Newsome. He lined up offside.
But Trent Dilfer,
that's good.
Yes.
What he's doing there is good, see, because what he's doing, that's usually when you have cramps.
On the cart, and Steve Walsh is going to come in.
But then they just did a U-turn, and they're going back the other way. They started one way and went the other way, I think because they were taking them to the long locker room, maybe.
Steve Walsh, the 10-year veteran who played last week, completed 6 of 12 passes against the Vikings. Screen pass to Warwick Dunn, and he is stuffed immediately by Brian Williams. Another big play by the quiet man for the Packers.
You see, there's Dilfer, just sets his foot, steps and throws like there's nothing happening, but something happened. They started taking him to the locker room.
Well, last week he got hurt. He suffered dual injuries on this 3rd quarter run against the Vikings. The deep thigh bruise caused more immediate pain. He had a contusion on his throwing shoulder, but then later on it was the bruised thigh that bothered him more, but he doesn't seem to be feeling very good now as he goes off. Bryce Hunter, number 88, comes in the game as the wide receiver for the first time. 2nd and 15. Walsh giving the ball to Warwick Dunn, and Dunn does not get much as he gets to the 44. It was Gilbert Brown that time. Well, Steve Walsh, well-traveled quarterback, a technician, good student of the game, the backup of this team.
So what does he bring to the table? Well, what he brings is an understanding of the offense, He knows who his weapons are. Most importantly, he knows his limitations. Not a real strong-arm guy. You're not going to throw a lot of deep outs and things like that. So it'll be the intermediate game, and that's where he'll try to beat you. He'll try to beat you underneath.
He's been with 4 different teams before coming to Tampa Bay last year, facing 3rd down and 14 on the Packer 44. Multiple wide receivers, and Walsh's throw is underneath. Caught by Dave Moore, but well short of the first down by about 9. And Brian Williams again making the key tackle.
That's it.
Buccaneers, they started out without Bert Emanuel, and now their quarterback Trent Dilfer is gone after some fumbles, penalties, and sacks. Mike Pryor calling for the fair catch, fumbles, and Tampa Bay may have it.
That's what they were looking for. That's a muff.
And Belisari makes the recovery for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, it's a muff because there was never any control or possession.
Yard line, Allstott and Lorenzo Neal out of the eye. And the give is to Mike Allstott. Nothing there. I'll tell you, they have shut him down. And again, Brian Williams.
He's playing a heck of a game.
Last week, forced a fumble that set up the touchdown scored by Leroy Butler in the first quarter against Detroit.
You know, Dick, when you watch a football game, no matter what level, if you want to see a guy who has good instincts, see if he's always around the football, working off the blocks, in the passing game. This guy's always around the ball. Great instinct.
Look at that. 7 possessions, 5 punts, 2 turnovers right now for the Bucs. They have 2nd down and 8. Late fake.
Oh, Reggie White.
Going up and nearly intercepted by Newsome, and it was in his hands, and a late flag goes down.
Did you see Reggie White hurdle? They tried to cut him. You can't cut this man. Watch Reggie White right here. Look at that. Right over the top of Warwick Dunn, gets the pressure.
And offensive interference will be the call against the Buccaneers.
That whole play is because of Reggie White. Newsome does a nice job. Comes back and makes that play. Remember, it's not getting there as quick as it did with Dilfer.
Pass interference. Offense, number 83. 10-yard penalty.
And it's the tight end, Dave Moore. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who faced the hurdle of trying to beat the Green Bay Packers, just as the Packers had the same situation trying to beat Dallas for so many years. Finally, they got over that hurdle, but Tampa Bay has yet to do it against this Green Bay team.
Speaking of hurdles, they couldn't get over the hurdle of Reggie White. I'm amazed. I mean, that's something that's reserved for young players.
Gabe Wilkins.
And something, he taught Gabe Wilkins that. Reggie White's just pulling stuff out of like 1987 or so.
2nd and 18. From the 25-yard line, Steve Walsh going into the end zone, and it's intercepted by Tyrone Williams, intended for Carl Williams. And the Packers get another turnover. Their 3rd.
Line doesn't help. He sees the eyes. When he looks, you look. Feel the man, goes for the ball, 6. Anatomy of how to defend a wide receiver. Got away with a little bit of elbow, and a big play.
2nd interception of the year for the Packers. We have an update on Trent Dilfer we'll tell you about. First down, Dorsey Levens has running room off to the left and picks up about 8 yards on the play. Well, Trent Dilfer suffered cramps, and he's getting an IV right now, and they expect him back at quarterback for the Buccaneers. Good news for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it is, because they're a different offense with Walsh in there. They can't make the same kind of throws. He can run that offense, but it's just not as strong a ball coming out of it. And they need all cylinders. No, remember, Tampa Bay has beat themselves today. That's their worst enemy.
They've got Reagan Upshaw back in at defensive end. He got hurt in the first half. Here's the give to Levens, and he is hit by Charles Mincy. Well, the Buccaneers, who made a world of mistakes last week against Minnesota, continue to do it. 3 turnovers resulting in 7 points. And
not very, very typical of a Tony Dungy coach team. The turnovers are just killing them. And because of the turnovers and the penalties, they've given up field position by the ton. You can't defend somebody in a short field.
Last week, the Packers got ahead 10-0, almost the same way over the Lions. and went on to win that game. They're up 16-0. 3rd down and 1. And that'll be a first down. Dorsey Levens, who has showed very little effects except some late fatigue last week from being a holdout for 6 weeks, but valuable guy, the franchise player, now onto the shoulders of Antonio Freeman, and of course Levens signing a new long-term contract last week.
Not good numbers, Dick, but you can see a big difference in Levens between this week and last week. I mean, he has some of that timing back. And remember, the strength of Dorsey Levens is that he gets stronger as the game goes on.
Brett Favre and the Packers with a first down on their 34. Here is Levens again. And this time it's Reagan Upshaw bringing him down. Loss of 1 on the play. Coming.
Derek Thomas, they need to help that left tackle position if they're going to continue to have problems with speed runs.
2nd down and 11. Brooks went in motion, and this pass is caught by Freeman, and that will be a first down. Forward progress to the 46-yard line. And a first down for the Pack.
First down, nice throw, good protection. Warren Sapp is the key to the defense. And you see what they're doing. See, Marco Rivera, 62, takes him first, but he knows he has help from Frank Winters. And Favre knows if he has that block, he can step up in the middle. You can see it right here. Winters comes around. He can step up and make that throw and deliver it. Incidentally, no ill effects at all from that finger and hand, the left hand of Favre.
Under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Freeman
ran right out of his shoe. No, that's Anthony Parker. One of those shoes came off. Favre saw that Charles Mincy was coming from that side. And kind of the rule of thumb is you always go back to where the blitzer's coming from. If you can get it picked up, you're going to have single coverage out there and no help. Mincy came on the blitz. He had man-to-man coverage. Parker had the coverage, but he threw it right in.
Rondy Barber and Brian Kelly, the rookie from USC. Kelly, number 25 in your picture. 2nd down and 10. And there is Dorsey Levens, who showed a little football there that was exposed a little bit, but he held on, and it'll be 3rd down after a 2-yard gain. And close to 10 as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whose defensive team has been on the field so much, and Parker had to leave, now comes back with his shoes on and tied.
You know, you're talking about Parker with his shoes. The one thing that I've noticed, though, from the beginning of the game, no more slipping. So whatever adjustments had to be made with the cleats, they've been made.
Packers 3 of 8 on 3rd down conversion. They need 8 yards on 3rd down. Some pressure, and the pass intended for Shimura, and the crowd feeling that Derek Brooks had held him downfield, do not get the call. It'll be 4th down, and the Pack will kick.
Well, Derek Brooks is going to match up. Right down here, the left side of your screen is the tight end Shimura. Brooks has him right here. Hey, that's good defense. That's fine. That's as good as it gets. You take your shot, he stumbles, you push him to the ground, you're within your 5 yards. Good defense.
Sean Landeta will kick. Jacquez Green making his NFL debut. And a threat to return kicks as he was at Florida, and it takes another Green Bay bounce and will be down at about the 10-yard line. Time for number 4, Brett Favre, but he's on the sidelines now as Steve Walsh, the other number 4, brings out the Bucs on the 11. Walsh handing off to Warwick Dunn. And again, this is Brian Williams. The Packers doing a terrific job against the run today.
I want you to watch Travis Jervey. Remember, Travis Jervey is an all-pro special teams guy who really didn't get any work in the preseason at all because Dorsey Levens held out. He was the main running back. So last week he gets his first time in, and he really pulled a couple of bonehead plays. So Mike Holmgren went up to him to talk to him and said, hey, we got to have something better than that. What happened? And he said, dude. And he said, excuse me, don't call me dude.
Warwick Dunn gets a couple. And right now, let's return to the dude, James Brown, in the Fox Television Center. JB.
All right, Dick and Matt, as you two well know, Cordell Stewart, slow starter in the first half. He picks up in the second half. That a 13-yard pass to Andre Coleman. He's 15 of 23 for 129 yards. Pittsburgh now on top, 17-9. Back to Dick and Matt.
All right, and we have another injury as that Warwick Dunn is shaken up now for the Buccaneers. Remember, they lost in 3. Jerry Ellison, number 37, has replaced Warwick Dunn in the backfield and trips 3 wide receivers out to the left. Coming in motion is Dave Moore. Flag is down.
That's Jason Oda moved too fast.
Number 70, the right tackle.
Yeah, he knew that Reggie White was lined up across from him.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty.
White has already beaten him for 3 sacks in the first half today.
He's just moving too quick, and he wants to get a jump. And you can see Warwick Dunn. They need Warwick Dunn, and they need Warwick Dunn more than anybody because he's a game changer. I think what happened they have to pull that thing up. They're making too many trips in there. I think the thing ran out of juice.
You know, it's interesting. We don't know what the injury is. Dilfer suffered a cramp. Interesting, a team down in South Florida or mid-Florida coming up.
Should happen. Yeah, it should be. The guys eating the bratwurst should be getting cramps. Not the ones who are having, you know, the good fish and all that stuff.
3rd down and 8. Guys with the good fish need 8 yards. Steve Walsh's pass nearly intercepted. Flag down, and it was Newsom defending against Jaquez Green, but they're going to get
Jaquez Green, I believe. Yeah, that's what it looked like. And the reason that happened is because this is a tough throw for Walsh to make.
And out.
Yeah, and it's... See, he tried to prevent him from getting there. Actually, it's a good job by him. That's a good play by Jaquez Green.
The touchdown.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. So he turned in the transition game. He said, I may not catch this ball, but you're not going to catch it either.
So it is 4th down, and Tommy Barnhart in his end zone will be kicking, and Roel Preston back deep for the Packers. 4th down and 9. And a fine kick, but again, the Packers should get good field position. Preston trying to get to midfield and almost does, but once again, the field position story very huge in this game. Green Bay has had it. Tampa Bay has not. 16-0 in the waiting day, scoring only 39 points in the last 6 games against the Packers, averaging out to 6.5, and frankly, that won't get it done and get you to the next level.
And then when you look at him over there, Dilfer, you look at his left arm, you can see they have it bandaged up. They took him in, they found he was a couple of quarts low, shoved the needle in there, and he's off and running.
It's like your car. 1st and 10 at the 48 for the Packers. Flag down, good field position, and Dorsey Levens. Another penalty marker goes down. Levens is finally stopped.
That's Brad Culpepper jumped inside, and that's who they'll get.
Preliminary signal is offsides against Tampa Bay.
Pretty quiet by the 2 tackles inside.
Offside by the defense. Number 77. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Culpepper to Culpepper. And Warren Sapp started off really strong, and then they kind of made sure they had 2 people on him the whole day. If you get Sapp blocked in this front, your chances of succeeding are pretty good. Because he's their dominant player. The guys feed off of him.
Most of the fans here from Milwaukee, they get the tickets for 2 of the 8 regular season games, and this is one of them. The other one will be against the 49ers. If the Packers win all their home games, including that one to that point, they'll break the Miami Dolphins record and have 28 consecutive home wins. So fans from Milwaukee came to this game. It'll be 1st down and 5 following the penalty for the Packers in Bucs territory.
1:35 on the clock.
Clock showing 1:27, and they're going to put 8 seconds back, I believe. That's in the 3rd quarter. 16-0 the score.
Fast 3rd quarter, isn't it?
We have not had any scoring, but it has moved. Here's Dorsey Levens trying to run outside, and he is cut down. Flag down. Hardy Nickerson. Helmet is down.
Yeah, that's a yellow helmet. It's Ross Burbis.
A minute remaining here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 5. Favre getting Henderson as fullback up the middle, William Henderson, and that will be good enough for a Packer first down. Well, tomorrow on Milestone Monday, a secret diary exposes every dirty Melrose secret on the 200th episode of Melrose Place. Then it's the season premiere of the year's most talked about show, Ally McBeal. It all starts tonight at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. That's Milestone Monday, so it must be tomorrow and not tonight. Okay. 15 seconds to go, and the clock is running.
Look at that. There's the blimp. The blimp is taking a shot of its own shadow. It's not good when you can see your own shadow. Then you're usually built like a blimp.
Groundhog Day. Freeman.
Look at the streets. See this? You see how many cars there are? There's 2. This is the main thoroughfare running through Green Bay, and there's nothing going on. Now remember, this is a Milwaukee weekend, so everybody there, they're all in their houses watching the game.
First and 10 at the 40 as we start the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton and Matt Millen. Brett Favre being chased by a Honitu.
Oh,
and gets really leveled and down at the 44 by Reagan Upshaw.
Look at Favre. Yeah, he's pumped up. You can't hurt me.
And now
that's good. That's good.
Slap.
That's what makes Favre so much fun to play against. And you were just talking last night to Warren Sapp about that. Right. He says, I love to play against him because he's fun and he's competitive and he loves to get going in the game. And that's what he did. Watch, he wants to make a play, so he ducks this one and gets hit right in the kisser. Bang! Reagan Upshaw hits him. Now watch Favre. This is a you can't hurt me. See, this is to send a message. So yeah, good hit. Yeah, it's fine.
And here's the handoff to Dorsey Levens, and Levens picking up about 6 yards on the play. Frankly, Brett Favre enjoys the game, and it's infectious.
Look at him. Look at him. He's a maniac. Look at that. Oh, that's a shot. And they see, Upshaw gave him a little bit at the end, but Favre was not going to give him the satisfaction of thinking that it mattered. So he just keeps on yakking. Meanwhile, he can't even see Upshaw. See, there's white spots and fuzz going all over the place. You just keep on walking.
There's Warwick Dunn, who suffered cramps just as Trent Dilfer did. He comes back. Dilfer will be back at quarterback when the Bucs get the ball next. Meanwhile, 3rd down and 8 with 3 wide receivers to the right. Favre wants one of them, and he's got Antonio Freeman still on his feet, and Freeman is great over. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Great effort by Freeman.
"38 yards for the touchdown. He had a lot of targets, and Freeman made the catch and did the rest.
You know what? That's the punctuation to you can't hurt me on the Brett Favre hit. They smacked him in the face, and he comes right back, has poise in the pocket, and it's just Freeman running right down the middle of the field. See how they split those safeties back there? Watch the effort at the end. Runs in and gets his 6.
Ryan Longwell, and he adds the 23rd point, and it is now 23-0. Antonio Freeman, who caught 2 touchdown passes last week, now 3 for the season. This thrilled crowd here as the Packers leading 23-0. Ryan Longwell kicking off. Riddell Anthony now returning the kickoff for the Buccaneers. Anthony on the return brings it out to the 21-yard line. The tackle made by Jude Waddy, a rookie. 23-0, thanks to Favre to Freeman on the last play. Dilfer is back at quarterback, and Warwick Dunn at running back. Both had to come out because of cramps. Dilfer's first pass, Darren Sharper defending against Carl Williams, incomplete. And it's 2nd down.
You know, the one thing that hasn't happened here today, with 23 points, there's a lot of dancing, but no leaping. And the fans who are used to that leap in the end zone have been looking for it. But you can see he's shaking his head right there. See, he's going, no leap today. They've been waiting. You know, this is the Milwaukee crowd. I think they're reserving it for the Green Bay regulars.
Got to hold something in your back pocket.
You got to keep them healthy.
2nd down and 10 at the 22. Underneath is Warwick Dunn, and Dunn tackled by Brian Williams, short of the first down by 2 yards. And right now, let's go back to James Brown for an NFL update, JB.
Hey, Dick, we love Matt's enthusiasm on Brett Favre's toughness. Will Matt enjoy this Eddie Kinnison run? Sweet moves on a 70-yard punt return. St. Louis back in it, all tied at 24 against Minnesota, under 4 in the third. Back to Dick Stockton, Matt Miller.
That's big. Eddie Kinnison ran like his heroes. He loves the Three Stooges, and I had to make that point.
Well, time was running out. I was wondering if he was going to get to them. 3rd down and 2. Trent Dilfer to Warwick Dunn, and that'll be a first down. And you got to figure that if they had not made it, they would have gone for it on 4th down early here in the 4th quarter, down by 23 points.
You know, Reggie White has still not slowed down his game at all. Now they got Odom out of there again. They went with Wunsch. He jumped right over him, and then Middleton comes over to cut him too. Now Reggie's not thrilled with that, and the reason is as he was coming down, Middleton cut him. But I got news for you: there's nothing wrong with that. Middleton was right. You can't engage somebody and cut him, but you can cut him the way Middleton did.
Middleton has had his problems. Dotson as well with that kind of a cutting play. 1st and 10. Dilfer gets pressure in the pass, intended for Hafe, incomplete. That time Santana Dotson made a beeline for Dilfer.
And they came with a blitz, and it was Brian Williams again. Santana Dotson is always very consistent inside. Brian Williams is going to come off the corner. They're trying to create a short corner by having Vonnie Holliday eat up the tackle so he can get around to the side. You know, the one thing about Fritz Shermer's defense is they'll give you a lot of different looks, a lot of different personnel, but they'll give you the same coverages. But they make you have to think who's coming and who's not.
And I don't think they really fear the Tampa Bay offense compared to some of the others in the division.
Well, you know, winning breeds that.
2nd and 10 at the 35-yard line of the Bucs. Trent Dilfer, and slipping that time was Williams, or Riddell Anthony, that is, and that will bring up 3rd down. 23-0. Brett Favre with 2 touchdown passes. One to Tyrone Davis, the other to Antonio Freeman. Ryan Longwell has 3 field goals. A couple of critical turnovers by the Bucs. They have 3 in all, and Reggie White in the first half had 3 of the 4 Packer sacks. That's been the story. Great field position all day for the green and gold. 3rd and 10 coming up for Tampa Bay. Jaquez Green wide up, wide left with 4 wide receivers. Dilfer, down he goes, and it's Keith McKenzie with the sack number 5 on the day for the Packers.
Yeah, McKenzie gets the sack, and Vonnie Holliday was right there helping with the whole thing. And then that kind of sack, you have to look downfield because there was nowhere to throw the ball. See, they come with the pressure. Holliday comes around, forces him to step up. But it was because of the stunt. McKenzie came inside. He looks downfield, nowhere to throw, you get a sack.
Nothing has gone right for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, and they came in losing Bert Emanuel in the game last week. And they really have not challenged the Packers at all. Roel Preston, loose ball. And let's see the signal. And the Buccaneers get it. Jerry Ellison recovers. So Roel Preston, Ryan Kelly, by the way, made the hit.
And receivers took over for Gil Haskell, who's also helping a little bit on the special teams with Johnny Howard.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line for the Buccaneers. One of the better field position situations of the day. Dilfer's pass is dropped, and Warwick Dunn tried to run with it before he caught it.
That was a chance of 6 points right there, because he was man-to-man to Leroy Butler to the middle of the field with a whole bunch of room to work with. And this man in the open field can really hurt you. See him lined up wide outside. He beats Brian Williams. Now look at this. Here's the only guy who can get him. And look at all the room to either side. Get Warwick Dunn in the open field, and he's an absolute nightmare to tackle. You need the ball, however, to become a nightmare.
It would help. Dilfer, 11 of 24 for 113 yards, 2 fumbles. And the pass caught by Carl Williams. Craig Newsom on him right away. I tell you, Newsom, you know that they're going to go at him, but he has is with his receiver, playing him a lot tougher this week than last.
And he's fighting. He's going to fight through, you know, probably around the halfway mark of the season is when you'll see Greg Houston all the way back. I'm a little surprised they didn't continue to go up on him. See, they've thrown at him 9 times, only 1 time over 20.
And that's the key, the over 20.
Right.
3rd and 4. 4 wide receivers. Here's Dunn. He catches it this time. First down inside the 15-yard line to about the 13. So that time Warwick Dunn, who lost his helmet, held on to the ball, and the Buccaneers have a new first down.
What about the 4th helmet I've seen? These guys get beheaded today. They just keep on. They just keep on. Those helmets keep popping up. But you know, the key is as long as the head is still on when the helmet comes off, you're usually in good shape.
We have yet to see a head in one of those helmets that come off.
Hope I never do.
First and 10 at the 13 of the Packers as you see Dunn lose the helmet, make the catch. Dunn now lining up in the slot, and a swing pass to Mike Allstott. Allstott doesn't have much speed, and the Packer linebackers easily got to him. Harris and Williams, no gain on the play.
Allstott, you know, Allstott runs pretty well, but what he doesn't do as well as Warwick Dunn is stop and start, and that's the difference. It's that change of direction. Brian Williams zeroed in on him, was right there to make the play. Allstott has pretty good hips, and he can make you miss inside, but when you get him out in the open, in space where Dunn excels, that's not his game.
How much? -2 yards.
That's bad, too.
Anthony and Williams split to the right. 2nd down and 12. Here comes pressure. McKenzie forces a fumble.
I think he got it, too.
And the Packers get it back.
Yeah.
McKenzie forcing the fumble. And that is sack number 6 for the Green Bay Packers. They've been in on Trent Dilfer from the get-go today.
You know what, McKenzie has really started to turn into pretty good at running stunts. And this came off of a stunt up inside. Nice wherewithal to slap the ball. It flops around, and he also comes up with a big play.
The Buccaneers trailing 23-0. He has been sacked 6 times. He has fumbled 3 times on those 6 sacks. 7 times knocked down. They've made him rush. Came out of the game on cramps, and you can see his displeasure on the sideline. So another turnover, and the Packers get it back. Dorsey Levin trying to go wide. Flag is down in the backfield as Derek Brooks catches up to Levin.
There's going to be a hold on Green Bay, and they'll take that one back. You know, the whole thing on that last play really wasn't on coverage. I mean, it wasn't all on Trent Dilfer because there was coverage involved. But then, more than that, I want you to watch these guys kind of broke down in there. They didn't really work back to Trent Dilfer. Williams comes back inside, just kind of jogs back over there. The rule is when a guy breaks down, you're going to watch Dave Moore. He just kind of gets on out there. When it breaks down and they run around, you work back to the quarterback.
Dorsey Levens is down on the field and shaken up.
Oh, an ankle left. You know, and that has nothing to do. It's either that left ankle or a knee. That has nothing to do with training camp or shape.
Raymond Harris, the former Chicago Bear, inactive for the 2nd straight game, not 100%. When he's ready, Mike Holmgren said he'll be in there. So 2nd down and 12. William Henderson is the lone setback with 4 wide receivers. Brett Favre chased by Reagan Upshaw and completes it to Derek Mays and gets a first down. Look at that improvisation by Brett Favre, and the rest of his teammates know what to do as well, and a gain of 17 yards. But for the Packers, their top running back on the bench.
Watch that. Watch the left foot when he plants it. Right there. Ooh. Ouch.
Levens with 18 carries and 43 yards today, Matt, tying his career high with 8 catches and 46 yards. So 26 touches. He had 42 last week in his first game back after being a holdout and having less than a week of practice without contact. Packers with a first down at their 45 with 7:50 remaining in the fourth quarter. William Henderson.
Okay, it's over.
Back to the line of scrimmage. Right now, let's return to James Brown for an NFL update. JB?
Dick and Matt, a shootout. Leroy Hoard takes it across 1 yard for the Vikes. They go up 31-24. First play of the fourth quarter. Banks, 80-yard. Mark McGuire, home run pass to Isaac Bruce. Unbelievably, we're all knotted at 31 in St. Louis. Back to Dick and Matt.
A wild game going on in St. Louis.
And Dick, that's the question that had to be answered in Minnesota. Could their defense, you know they're going to score points, but could their defense hold up? And right now against St. Louis, they're having some problems.
A lot of points to give up against the Rams. Michael Blair has come in the game, a running back. And Brett Favre goes down by Warren Sapp getting the sack on the play.
You know, Dick, I got to tell you, it's 7 minutes right now. I think I get the hook and get Favre out of there. For the same reason as you're seeing Timmerman here is getting his right knee checked. Dorsey Levens goes out and he's banged up. And I think you kind of have to get the others in there right now.
Adam Timmerman out and Jeff Dellenbach replacing him at right guard for the Packers. And a good point by you, because this is a 23-0 game and it's over. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not going to come back in this game because they don't get to 23. And you don't want to take your chances. Dorsey Levens on his feet now, sitting back down. Favre still in there. The pass intended for Freeman is incomplete.
You know, the one thing that Green Bay has a little, not a lot of, but they have a little depth, and that's the one thing that separates teams in this league is depth. When you're talking about people, you see they're icing up that ankle.
Sean Landeta kicking Jacquez Green, but going back, fields it at the 5-yard line. Here's Jacquez Green. If he gets open, he'll beat everyone, and he will. He's going to beat everyone. Jacquez Green. No flags are down, and he will go in for the touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A 94-yard punt return by rookie Jacquez Green, making his NFL debut and the first draft pick out of the University of Florida this year by the Buccaneers. Not much to cheer about for Tampa Bay this afternoon, but that certainly is one.
Well, he got on his horse, actually made a mistake. Usually set your feet on the 10-yard line. It goes over your head. You leave it go into the end zone. He set his feet on the 5-yard line, and because probably nobody told him the rule. but he got on his horse. He broke away, and then, you know, once he was able to turn that speed into that second level, even with an angle, you're not going to catch him.
And it's a 95-yard punt return, the longest in Tampa Bay history. They're going to go for two right here, trailing 23-6. And the Green Bay special teams, again, under the microscope, because last week, as you know, Terry Fair returned to kickoff, 101 yards, plus several other punt and kick returns. So Mike Holmgren has to be distressed about his coverage team.
Well, I'm sure they'll get a little bit of work from Coach Holland, Coach Holmgren.
Here's the two-point conversion with 6:03 remaining. Dilfer's pass caught by Patrick Hape for the 2 points. So the Packer lead now, 23-8. There goes the shutout. And Packers getting ready for what they expect will be an onside kick by Michael Houston. And there it is, the onside kick. Darren Sharper covers it up at the 46-yard line. Want to remind you, the second half of our big doubleheader, you've got the Pack in the first game, and you've got their conquerors in the second half of our Fox NFL doubleheader. The Denver Broncos impressive against the Patriots Monday. John Elway against the Dallas Cowboys. Chan Gailey got off on the right foot in week 1. He's got a tough one in week 2.
Well, you know what Denver is, and they're consistent, and they're good, but you don't.
First and 10 at the 46. Michael Blair, who's a first-year player out of Ball State. There's Jacquez Green, who responsible for Tampa Bay's 6 of their 8 points.
Did you see these right there? See those? You know they used to put that eye black under your eyes? They don't do that anymore. See, now they take these things and they stick them on you. It's like a kind of a Band-Aid thing. They just stick them right under your eyes, and instead of putting the old eye black on.
Much easier to wash off.
Yeah, you just kind of rip them off, but it doesn't look right. It kind of looks like a Teflon eye black. It's not right.
A Teflon eye black.
I don't like it. It's like a 90s thing.
We are indeed in the 90s, heading for beyond.
I've been stuck in the 60s for 40 years.
William Henderson, flag is down back at the line of scrimmage as Henderson gets about 8 yards on the play. Green, of course, with the 95-yard punt return. The only touchdown the Bucs have. Here's Ed Hockley.
It's going to be a holding.
Holding. Offense number 52. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Frank Winters. Well, every game has a tone setter, and this one certainly did, and it came in the first quarter when Trent Dilfer, fumbling on this play, and picked up and covered, and ultimately the touchdown to Davis. And then Dilfer again when the Tampa Bay Bucs were threatening, another fumble. So those two fumbles critical of the 4 turnovers that the Bucs have committed this afternoon against the Packers, and they headed for their 10th straight road loss against Green Bay, and that's becoming a jinx for them.
Well, Warren Sapp told us last night that they're that speed bump we have to get over, but it looks like that speed bump just kind of grew in size.
Michael Blair with the carry. That'll bring up 3rd and long with 4:36 remaining.
You know, Dick, I'd like to say to Ron Wolf's mother, Marie, who's just had open heart surgery, she's recovering well. She's watching this game and
would consider that, as many coaches are doing these days. So the future as far as the hierarchy in the coaching department, a bit of question for Green Bay.
That's why winning is now for Green Bay.
That's for sure. 3rd down and 17. With 4:35 to go, they dump it off to Blair. Michael Blair gets past Gooch and will be short of the first down by about 8 yards, and the Packers will have to punt. Warren Sapp gets up limping. We've had
that looks like cramps again.
Yeah, a slew of players bothered with cramps and other injuries. Dorsey Levens with the ankle. We saw Adam Timmerman being carted off.
You'd think that coming from the warm air, they just kind of stick it right on you. See, he's on the goal line. That's the wrong place to be.
Landetta will kick from the 45-yard line, and he wants no return on this and won't get one as it goes out of bounds with 4:19 showing on the clock. Well,
tell me it's a humdinger. We'll be down there. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yes, the Bears and the Bucs in another Central Division matchup. First down for Trent Dilfer and the Buccaneers, trailing 23-8, and the pass overthrown, intended for Riddell Anthony. Well, the new stadium, located just a few hundred yards from what they call the Big Sombrero.
There's the old one right over there.
65,000 capacity. They have over 150 luxury suites. We hope the press box location is decent.
I think just give me the food. I'm happy with the food.
The food's good.
I mean, look at that place. That looks like a living room. It looks gorgeous.
That's next Sunday. The Bucs open their new stadium against the Chicago Bears. 2nd and 10 on the 16. Green going in motion toward the line of scrimmage. Good coverage by the Packers, and Green finally finds an open receiver, and it's caught out of bounds, and it's number 86, Carl Williams, and a first down and a pickup of 22.
And now you'd have to go, they stopped the clock here, so that's okay. But you have to hurry up. You need 2 scores and 2 two-point conversions to win this football game. So you have the 2-minute warning. You have to use that, but you have to hurry things up, and they must score now. If they can score before like a minute and a half and get the ball back, you got a shot at this thing.
And they still have 2 timeouts remaining. 1st and 10 on their 38. And Dilfer getting hit as he fires it upfield to Williams, covered by Williams. And that was Carl Williams defending, trying to be defended against Tyrone, and good pressure by Leroy Butler.
Yeah, and they know now that Reggie White is the guy they had to get blocked. See, they're going to double team him right now. Middleton's there. Odom is there. They come with a little bit of pressure up inside. But Reggie White has carried the mantle very high today. 3 sacks, constant pressure. He's hurdled over a bunch of guys.
And the all-time Packer sack leader is Dorsey Levens, limping as he comes back with a sprained ankle. 2nd down and 10. Dilfer's pass. Riddell Anthony makes the catch, and a fine play by Anthony. Sharper and Pryor making the defensive play.
Gopher has him right. Get him right back to the line of scrimmage. You got to score now. See, if they score here, they can actually kick off and forget the onside kick.
25-yard gain. And there's the pass to Warwick Dunn. He slips by a couple of defenders and gets a first down to the 25. And as we said, the Buccaneers still have 2 timeouts remaining.
2 timeouts plus a 2-minute warning. You're at 3.5 minutes left to go. You're going hurry up. You're limiting the defensive calls that can come in. You still can run your full offense.
23-8. And there is Dunn again, and he is brought down from behind by George Kuntz. And maybe close to another first down. And we understand the Buccaneers have just 1 more timeout. Not 2, so 1 more timeout.
Would be actually the clock to stop twice, like we were talking about. But what Dilfer's doing right now is they're letting everybody run off, and he's just using Dunn on the underneath coverage.
They spread the offense, and
great catch.
Bryce Hunter trying to hold on to it, but he could not. Did not have possession and went out of bounds. But Bryce Hunter had beaten the defenders. Stops the clock with 2:46 remaining.
He went with the pump right there. Let's see. There's 1 foot. Oh, I don't know about that, Dick.
I don't know if he had possession, though.
He may not. I'll tell you, that's a tremendous effort. Let's see. No possession. No possession. Okay, possession. 1. No. That's a great call. And I mean, he missed that by about 2 inches.
2nd and 10 on the 15 of the Packers. Brent Dilfer.
There it is.
And there is Riddell Anthony, and he slides close to the goal line. And
didn't give it to him.
Does he get over?
No, he didn't.
No, he doesn't. He stopped at the 1.
He took the low road. Had he dived, he would have had his 6. But he went down low in his knee. Remember,
he might have slipped.
It's where the ball is when the knee hits. They're hurrying up, and Dilfer doesn't have everybody over there. Now there's a timeout. Oh, there's an injury timeout. It's outside of 2 minutes.
Anthony, who just missed getting the touchdown. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. The Buccaneers' only touchdown coming as a result of a punt return for a score. Jacquez Green went 95 yards. Allstott and Neal. They call it the Rhino backfield lining up.
I don't run the ball here. I throw here into the end zone. If you don't get it, you stop the clock.
And they run the ball, and they're not going to get it. Allstott, and that's going to chew up time.
That's a 2-minute warning.
We're going to get to the 2-minute warning. Gilbert Brown forced the play. I made it. The clock would have stopped, and they would have had another play before the 2-minute warning. They ran, didn't make it. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 2 with 2 minutes to go in the 4th.
Wholesale changes. They go now with 4 wide receivers, and they do it late. So the Packers counter with their personnel grouping. Now you got to get everybody lined up in the right spot.
2nd and goal at the 2. Dilfer touchdown to Moore. Dave Moore with the score.
Now you got to go for 2 points. You have a minute 57. You lost your timeout, so you have to kick your onside kick. But none of it matters if you don't get this 2-point conversion.
Because if you get the 2-point conversion, you're down by 7, and you have a shot. So this is going to be critical now. They are lining up for a kick. They're lining up for the extra point, not the 2-point conversion. So they're trying to get the point here. They still would need 8 to tie the game.
Right. That's good right there. Actually, that's very good.
And the kick is good.
Because if you don't get it here, then you have no shot at all.
You were right with that point. But now, with getting the 1, they've got to still get the onside kick. Need a touchdown, 2-point conversion. And that would be just to get a tie to send the game into overtime. But I'll tell you, they're making the Packers sweat a little bit down the stretch.
So they went for the tie there instead of the win. But they went for the sure thing. Because had they gone for the 2-point there and missed it, they had no shot.
Right.
But they
to Dave Moore, and his first touchdown pass of the game. Here is the onside kick, and Schrader grabs it and runs out of bounds. Bill Schrader grabbed it and said, I'm not going to get knocked around, and he slid out of bounds, so the Packers will get the ball back with 1:55 to go, and the Buccaneers out of timeout.
And that's the game. That was the game right there. Nice job by Bill Schrader, just getting those hands up there and plucking that thing out of the air. The idea is to get it up in the air, then your front line takes out everybody inside, and you try to get this guy right here. You try to get Brian Kelly the ball. Once the thing goes up in the air, sharper tip. That's a great job of concentration by Bill Schrader. And then also having the wherewithal to just get out of bounds.
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trying to get over a big hurdle, trying to beat Green Bay. They've lost 5 in a row, 9 straight on the road. But they made too many mistakes today, several of them forced by the Green Bay Packers to contend in this game.